All right, we are back once again, getting ready to go ahead into game number 4 of SpyderSlayer versus Winter.
That's right. And this could go into a best of 5.
It is best of
I mean,
5.
it's a best of 5, but it could go to the 5th game pretty easily.
It could. Very well.
Who knows? It's anybody's game at this point.
Absolutely. It's going to be on Merry-Go-Round, a map we have not seen yet this tournament.
That's true, yeah.
So Winter, having lost that game, got to choose the map. We're going to go ahead and hit the start button and load up in. We are at Youmacon in Detroit, Michigan at the Renaissance Center. If you have not been here, you should. It's a pretty cool place. Red Bull, another big event that was here a few months ago. So esports is alive here in Michigan.
In Detroit, that's right. Not a lot alive in Detroit, but esports apparently. So.
Absolutely. A lot of people come out here. This is a pretty cool room if you've seen from our crowd cam. A lot of people hanging out playing some video games here at the Youmacon Anime Convention video gaming room.
Yep, and there's all sorts of stuff in this room. We've got all sorts of consoles spanning from as far back as Nintendo to the Wii to I think I saw some Super Nintendos back there. Definitely some Xboxes with Halo, some arcade. There's definitely even another room.
Shots fired here, Gallegation.
Oh,
I'm coming for you, Desro.
The optimism, yeah.
Yeah, but coming into Merry-Go-Round here, let's introduce our players at the bottom 6 o'clock position of the map in the underdog position at the moment. His name is Winter. And
in the top left-hand corner, back to his traditional yellow color, it is SpyderSlayer.
I do prefer the yellow banelings, if I'm going to be honest.
Why is that?
I don't know. They just look more toxic.
More toxic? More than green?
Yeah, green is more like, I don't know. I backed myself into a corner here.
Yeah, I think you did. So Desro in chat for the stream did say that Winter told him to type that he put his song on. So I think that the kid gloves are coming off and Winter is ready to bring back this series.
Yeah, well, we'll see, as both players have pretty much determined where each other are. Spawning pools going down at the same time. I think SpyderSlayer is pretty excited here. This is the most typing here we've seen in a game in a little while. But, you know, SpyderSlayer, to be honest, you know, underdog for sure, but he's playing really well this tournament. He did get taken out earlier by Winter, is the person that put him in the loser bracket. So what sweet justice would it be to be able to come back and beat Winter to move back up into the grand final?
Honestly, his showing in this match has been completely different than that one as well. I mean, SpyderSlayer lost both. It was a 2-0 victory for Winter in a best of 3. And both of those games were less than 10 minutes. The control in this has been night and day from that match.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've casted SpyderSlayer at many tournaments across this great state. And, you know, he's always, at more times than not, he's kind of been off his game a little bit, either sick or not feeling well or not rested enough. But today, this weekend, this tournament is different for him. It's like he has been playing with a mission for sure.
Yeah, I think that he's, you know, trying to find a spot on the map. He's been practicing a lot lately, and he's definitely earned the prestige that he's getting for the games that he's playing.
Absolutely. So both players doing similar things here. You have expansions coming down, spawning pools are created, queens in production, drones being made, Zerglings on the map. You know, same standard Zergy things going on here. SpyderSlayer is sending 2 Zerglings down to Winter's base. They're slightly ahead of the 2 Zerglings from Winter, headed towards SpyderSlayer's base, and they are going to meet in the middle. We'll see who has move command, who has attack command, and it seems like Winter had attack command. SpyderSlayer had move command as they just ran right on past.
SpyderSlayer sending that queen down to the natural hatchery, getting ready to spew on those eggs as soon as that pops.
SpyderSlayer has been really doing some good things with getting these Zerglings into Winter's base early in the game. Right now he's just kind of holding them, just kind of chilling, waiting for something to do with them. There's not any drones here yet, so he's not really trying to get too much done. The queen is puking there on the natural expansion hatchery to inject some larvae. Now there is a drone, so he could get in there and do a little bit of damage to that.
Winter does have a queen just kind of hanging out on the main ramp there, and oh wow, look at that. He's just baneling nest right off the bat here.
Wow, from Winter. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this has really worked out for him in the past. That's how he won the game so quickly. Yesterday against SpyderSlayer is getting down a very quick baneling nest and getting an advantage in that regard. But at the same time, you know, we've seen it go both ways in casting some of the SC2 CTL matches. I remember one of the finals, I think it was Korean Air versus someone else, where Korean Air versus Henderless, you know, the player that had the banelings first didn't actually get the advantage. There's a couple bad trades, and you lose a lot of minerals. So it all comes down to the control.
Absolutely, but I mean, Winter definitely has the control to be able to do it. He's definitely proved that already. And SpyderSlayer has been showing some decent control as well, so we'll see what happens here. SpyderSlayer getting a lot of Zerglings here pretty early on. I think that seeing that Baneling nest kind of put the fear of God into him, and indeed the drone differential is about 10 more for Winter than there are for SpyderSlayer right now.
And it's going to take that many resources to equalize if he's going to be making the Banelings. And SpyderSlayer is headed across the map. Banelings are in production, so he does have a moment here. But the Baneling does pop. He doesn't want to get a bad trade here. That wasn't so bad. One Baneling for 2 lings. Really, in the last couple of games, there's been one bad trade for each person. That has kind of, it's evened out. But if one person does not get that trade, then that really tips the scales. And right now, SpyderSlayer being cautious, kind of heading back home.
Winter moving around the north side of the map now. I think he's trying to avoid any traditional attack path vision that might be there, and I think he's looking for any hidden bases that potentially could be out there as well.
SpyderSlayer does catch a couple Zerglings on the way in, does have Banelings of his own now, so the table has equalized as far as that goes. Looking at the units, it is 27 drones to 38 drones, so Winter does still have about an 11 drone advantage. SpyderSlayer producing a few more here than his opponent, but doing the dance out here with the Banelings. Queen is taking a couple shots here, is about to get surrounded by the Zerglings, but headed back towards the Spine Crawler.
3 Banelings for SpyderSlayer, just kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere there, and a single Baneling for SpyderSlayer, or Winter moving forward, popping on that Queen, not really getting a whole lot done.
Drones and Queens able to clean up the 3 Zerglings in the main base without taking any drone losses. So far for both players, Winter still has a bit of a supply lead here. He is producing drones, still looking at the unit count. Once again, it is 35 to 48, so he's extending his drone lead ever so slightly. Both these players seem to really be comfortable on 2 bases here for quite a while. Moving into the third seems to have been kind of a dangerous thing for both players.
And Winter, I think, is in top form now. He's getting this Spire. He's got the drone lead. He's been able to shut down these Zergling advances and really take map control. I think that SpyderSlayer may be in trouble this game.
Yeah, he's putting down 4 Spine Crawlers at the front of his base just to protect against any Zergling run-bys there may be while he goes for the Spire, too.
Yeah, and
that's the thing he didn't do the last time he went for the Spire early. He just didn't have anything to defend at home, and that's what ended up killing him. Is SpyderSlayer just went into this massive Zergling production and just kept running in, and killing him. But what SpyderSlayer doesn't see is the third base on the right side, which is extremely vulnerable and would be a good target for these Zerglings.
Yeah, but now there's a lot of Spine Crawlers going in front of the natural expansion. The Spire is wrapping up here, and there will be 5 or 6 Mutalisks in production. Once that happens.
SpyderSlayer doesn't really have an answer to that yet either. He's just kind of in the mode of creating a lot of Zerglings. And last time he did this, I was like, oh my god, he's going to be so dead when these Mutalisks come out. But he wasn't, and he found a way to pull it out. He's a dynamic player as well, so we'll see what he ends up doing. I don't think he's seen the Mutalisk yet, but he does have good spread of units and overlords across the map. There is a few Zerglings of Winter that are out of place a little bit. Nice trade there with the Banelings, able to clean those up.
But more Zerglings are running around, just trying to get a good idea of where things are. 2 Banelings are heading straight for that group of Zerglings for SpyderSlayer, but he is able to bring out a few to try and take those out.
7 Mutalisks with +1 are in the field. SpyderSlayer does see them as they are attacking his Overlord, so no secret there. He has not really reacted yet, still making a lot of Zerglings with the Carapace and melee upgrades. Now the Spore Crawlers are going down. Both at his main base and the natural. Some Zerglings do come on up in the base for SpyderSlayer here, but he looks like he's just kind of going for the same thing. There's a big trade of Zerglings there.
Oh my goodness, and those Mutalisks are just taking out those Banelings. That's just wasted resources. You hate to see that. But I mean, that's what the Mutalisks are good for, is taking out those high cost units.
Yeah, SpyderSlayer not doing so well so far. It looks like as the Mutalisk coming to the third base, you have to cancel it, loses the drone. Does not have any defense here. You can see Mutalisk, he does have a smattering of Spore Crawlers here, but the number of Mutalisks are getting pretty high, so he will be able to do some damage. He gets those some Banelings coming in, taking out a good number of Zerglings of Winter, so those are still on the field. The Mutalisks do take out the remaining Banelings.
And the Mutalisks are still going around the map, and Winter just really has a huge advantage now. So many Mutalisks there. He's got a total of 13 on the map, and only now is SpyderSlayer starting his lair. So this is going to be pretty tough for him to hold out for that long, to create a lair, and then whatever tech he decides to go into to deal with the Mutalisks. this is going to be real hard for him.
Yeah, Winter did a really good job of really teching quickly while not showing it by still having a lot of units out on the field. SpyderSlayer also does have a lot of creep tumors here that he wants to be spreading creep across the map, but the Mutalisks have been hanging out front, so he can't really do that. But there's, I mean, Winter has the Mutalisks, but he still has a large number of Zerglings and Banelings back here, which is just really keeping you in. SpyderSlayer there wanted to make a lot of Banelings, but just didn't get it done. But he did get into the natural expansion here. The Spine Crawlers have taken a bit of damage, but Winter has almost nothing back here in the main base. He does have a Queen and a Spine Crawler, which will be enough once his Mutalisks come back here to not take really any damage here.
Yeah, that Queen does survive. He is getting Ventral Sacks as well, so I think that he's going to try and do some sort of Baneling drop. In addition to all this, he knows that he's really far ahead, and in traditional Winter fashion, wants to do something goofy, and SpyderSlayer's just going to GG.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that was coming. He was losing pretty much every angle as far as that game went, which is, you know, it's going to happen. But Winter was just, like he said, he's just really on top of his game that game.
Yeah,
turning on whatever song he turned on. He should really he should keep that on.
Yeah, you should keep listening to that. Yeah, so that was a very convincing game from Winter, really just taking the game ahead of SpyderSlayer in pretty much every facet from the beginning to end of that game.
Yep. So we're going to go into match point 2-2. So the winner of the next game is going to take home the opportunity to go up and face off against Desro, and the loser is going to take home some money.
Yep, and go home as well. They will go home.
Well, they may not go home right away. They might kind of hang around and watch the match, but
maybe.
Know, yep. But we're going to take a quick break here real quick, give the players a moment to stretch while we get the next match set up, and we'll be right back shortly.